This will be the last time, the last and first and last uploaded video of me talking about my my stalkers, gang stalkers. I wanted to start with this. This is the last point that I wrote down here, and it says, if you're being gang stalked to this day, it's because one of these people doxed you in a private setting, online in a chat room or something. Just as an example, I mean, it doesn't have to be a fucking chat room. They doxed you, basically, and they know everything about you. Just wanted that to be clear. So, some things to note. I've been anonymous for my entire internet history. I don't think I've ever once revealed my name publicly. I've never revealed my face publicly that wasn't in a private account or something. I don't share my name anywhere. And it really no longer matters if I do that or not, because I don't have any privacy anymore. They're spying on me 24/7, and they don't need a phone to do it. So that's the second point, actually. They've tracked me without using a phone or any other device that I know of, and that, for me, implies that they're doing this 24/7, watching me 24/7, including this. So you can imagine how I feel. I'm not too fucking happy, and given like the thoughts of what they've done to me, we'll get into it. Aside from the neighbors in where I live here, and there's another place I stay, and there was another place I stay. There's 3 places that I stayed. They followed me all 3 places, and they even followed me out to Michigan. So there's no getting around them. Aside from the neighbors who participate in whatever the fuck this is, psychological experiment, I don't know a single name or face behind this, discarding my speculation and some of my ideas of who might be behind this. Some people have drawn the connection between gangstalking and human trafficking. It's a good connection to draw because they are related. Now, if you were a human trafficker, wouldn't you stalk your victim? Anyway, all symptoms for me started at once, and this was tinnitus, voices in my head that are not me, personality-wise aren't me, are alien to me, people following me, and at this time, they've been doing this for years, but they really began to say things to get in my head and to fuck with me. Like, specific things. I will give one example. The voices in my head started telling me that I was going to shoot my eye out. In some way, one of my eyes was coming out. It would never elaborate on that. Fast forward a couple months after I isolated myself from everyone for a year. I go to someone's house and they say something to me about shooting my eye out, which is so specific. I can't see that and be like, or hear that and be like, that's not related. Sure it isn't. This isn't the first time people have repeated the things that the voices in my head have said. And I remember when this first started, those same people even said something about intrusive thoughts, even though I hadn't said anything yet. So, something to think about. People from all around seem to know me, in Newark, in Columbus, and where I'm at now, Reynoldsburg. And some of the people that I had been walking with or, hanging out with in public, they had done this too. They had said they're one of my friend's middle names. Really weird thing. I don't know if we're really friends, but we'll leave it at that. All these people give some indication that they know exactly who I am. And I'm not really sure how that's possible, but it is apparently. Altered sights and perceptions without the use of drugs, which do that. And this is stuff like, you'd look back and you'd be like, I don't know if that was really altered, but it really seems like something is being altered. Light is being manipulated. Something is being manipulated. So altered sights and perceptions, and I should throw in sounds as well. Artificial synchronicity. This is a big one. Artificial synchronicity. So what they do is they send you down rabbit holes that are filled with these artificial synchronicities. And I fell into one that had to do with the internet. And if I really, really explain this to you, which I can right now, I don't know if you believe me, but I'm going to give you the example. This is a interesting thing that happened. Just listen. I walk out, or I don't walk out. I walk down the stairs at my house in Newark. And I immediately catch this guy. He's wearing an orange shirt, 33. If you break down orange, it means 33. And it's a symbol for alarm, orange alert. And his t-shirt just says psych ward on it. Now, I had conceptualized that maybe it was a band and let it go. Until later, I went out on a walk. On that walk, I found a bottle of pills just laying out. Really, really interesting thing. Just a bottle of pills. I keep walking. I walk away from it because I think it's like some sort of trap, right? And this guy screams really loud for no reason. He screams. And I just look at him like, why are you screaming? I go back home. I go on the computer. The first video on YouTube, you can look this up right now. It's called I Hate This Place. I Hate It Here. The medications don't work. It's about a psych ward. The video is about a psych ward. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say anything about the guy's shirt out loud. And I'm not even trying to imply the algorithm read my mind. I'm trying to tell you it's an artificial synchronicity from an artificial rabbit hole. Now, how they do this, I don't really know. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that's just, a coincidence. That's obviously something that has been orchestrated somehow. I can send you to the channels that I found. All of them seem to vaguely relate to some of the shit I've been going through, including gangstalking, so it's really interesting. One of the channels makes like experimental art videos, and one of the things that is mentioned in their videos is something called an artificial revelation. So that ties right. I'll even link the video. It's called isoretinoin, which is an acne medication, but the video is called isoretinoin. It's on a channel called V2k. I fell into this rabbit hole, and I couldn't let it go because I knew something here wasn't right. I did not believe that it was possible for me to fall into such a rabbit hole without it being an orchestrated event, because again, the things that were being talked about, the things that were being shown on the channel still exist on the channel. The channel is called V2k. Look it up. It's still there. And there's all this stuff, I mean, like, it's more on the abstract level that you can't really put it into words, but it's calling to something on the subliminal level even, which for me isn't really so different from the abstract level, but abstract means to divide. Anyway, that is what I mean by artificial synchronicity, 24/7. So you never know how much of the shit is just being orchestrated to fuck with you. You never know how much work they're putting into doing this shit. They've put a lot of work into fucking with my head. Because this is what I should have stated at the beginning of the video. Psychological warfare, psycho-spiritual warfare. Everything is spiritual, whether you see it or not, but it's happening on a material level. So they have to hijack your brain. A lot of what they do is either submission or self-destruction, which is a sort of a form of submission. They need you to either self-destruct or be completely submissive. Otherwise, they don't want to deal with you. And they might kill you. That's at least my idea. I don't know. So, they communicate in symbols. I remember one of them walked backwards at me twice and then threw a piece of trash at me out the window of their car. So he walked outside. It wasn't the person that did it, but they were coordinated. There was one person walking backwards into his car, obviously. And I had just seen on the TV Back to the Future. I don't watch TV. I walked out there at the perfect time to see this artificial synchronicity. And then I go outside, and what do I see? I see a guy walking backwards into his car. And then what happens? I walk down, it's near this like pool area, and I'm walking, I think I was trying to get to a park. And this person rolls down their window and goes like that. They throw a piece of fucking fruit snacks at me. That actually happened. Like, I'm not making that up. That actually happened. All of what I'm telling you right now is real. I don't know how anyone is not really coming to this other than me, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this really. Also, I've definitely been drugged on a number of occasions. I won't say the exact place I went to. This is another one of those artificial synchronicities, man. I got fucking drugged. Someone put something in my coffee. It was like a slam poetry place. Maybe I deserved it. In front of the coffee was this picture of JFK. It was a painting, and he was drinking poisoned tea. right in front of me. And later, I look back at this event and I realized, it was hard to form a memory aside from what the voices were doing. And it felt like I was drugged. Something isn't right about that. I wouldn't just go out and say and be like, I feel like I was drugged if I didn't actually feel like I was drugged. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying. It's very interesting. Drones, helicopters, obviously trailing me, even in very remote locations where it just doesn't make sense for there to be 2 helicopters that come right above your head. What the point for this is, I don't know, but they do it. This is another point, some of the more longer points I made. In a single day in 2023 to now, I see up to 20 cars with missing headlights. In a single day, I can see up to 20 cars with missing headlights. It's not a coincidence. I've seen them switch it off and on before. It's a way of telling you that they're always watching. It's a very interesting way of doing it. I got mad at them today. I yelled at one of them because they kept doing this honking thing. They honk at me all the time. It's really obnoxious, and I don't think they're doing it to be like nice to me. I feel like they're doing it to fuck with my head and make me feel like some kind of bitch or something. I don't know. I got mad at it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This doesn't even make sense. That's a part of the fucking psychological warfare too, is the confuse you, mindfuck you. Operation Mindfuck. So what it's called, the device that does this, it's called a WAG switch. And it allows you to switch one headlight off while the other remains on. I've seen one of them switch it off and on before. So it's not just people with broken headlights everywhere I go. And I've been looking at cars my whole life. I've never seen this many one headlight cars. And another thing, they are mostly in cars. This is some of the stuff that they do. They scream out the window at me. Either just screaming or they scream stuff at me. They honk obnoxiously over like 10 to 20 to 30 fucking times. They throw trash at me. And I've also had one of them throw firecrackers at me. Now, it sounds like I'm being a bit of a bad sport. I wonder how far they're going to take this. I've had one of them deliberately try to hit me with his car. That's true. That one of them tried to hit me with their car. Sped up on this, like, again, it's a remote road that no one drives on. And there's just this guy who blasts past me for no fucking reason. If you haven't heard, they have custom license plates. And they usually put nasty messages on them. And one of the ones that actually like really made me mad, they drove past me with the license plate, "Be gone." How nice of you guys. Trust me, I'm about ready. I wrote here, most of it boils down to like psychological torment until submission. That's the main psyop. Torture you into submission. If that doesn't work, I honestly don't know what their plan B is. It's all like demoralization. They need to make you self-destruct, basically. Either that or be submissive. That's the 2 things I notice they do the most. Either make people self-destruct, or they make them submissive, or they kill them. So the KGB did. It ruined my summer. I mean, that's not really like a big deal. But I had a ruined year and, obviously like a ruined life. Because these people torture me every day. Until this day. They've been doing it all day today. And you can feel it. Most of this is so off the wall, beyond the scope, of what people deal with. Like, who could you bring this to and have them believe it unless you were showing them actively what was going on? I got lazy, and this is one thing I should add. I do have witnesses. There was a person I was staying with for like 2 months that actually saw these fucking people do this shit, and they're the only other person who was actually like said anything about it. Not gonna say who that is. And like, unless you were going through it, I mean, would you believe it if I came and I told you all of this? So this is a job for people. And I'll leave it at that. This is a job for people. And something I should have mentioned in the beginning of this, it started in 2015 to 2016. I'm 21 years old now. It's 2024. 2015, 2016, I may have been 15 or 14. I'm not really sure. It seemingly started because I was talking about human trafficking, and I've explained this story to a number of friends where It was the first time I had ever been told that someone took a picture of me. Every other time, I just saw it with my own eyes. So he says my name, and he says, you know, that guy just took a picture of you. And I say, where? What are you talking about? I get a little nervous because I'm like, why are they taking pictures of me? And from there, it continues. I was probably 14 or 15. I spoke out on human trafficking, and for 9 years after that, I have been spied on, and like, there's a very obvious psychological warfare trying to make me either kill myself or be submissive to a machine, which is not, I assume it's a machine because it doesn't seem like a human doing this. It has the ability to change in any voice that it wants to. It just doesn't talk like a human. It talks like a machine that's doing a job to torture you. So I wrote here, this is psychological warfare, but it's also some kind of experiment. When they abuse your brain, they abuse you, your soul. Your soul isn't in your brain, but it's a part of you now. So, you see, they control people through the brain. That's how they control people on the material realm. And if you're controlled on the material realm, what do you think happens in the spiritual realm? It's not too hard to discern that you might be controlled there too. So all of this is psychological warfare, psycho-spiritual warfare, whatever you want to say. I would say that nearly all of the people involved on the other side of reality are psychopaths. Some of the things that go on behind the scenes are so dark and disturbing that even they themselves wrote that if the people found out what was going on, they'd be fucking lynched. They'd be lynched to death. They'd be killed by the cattle. They call them cattle. I'm not calling them cattle. They call them cattle. You should know that. I feel like anyone should know that. They're psychopaths. They don't look at people as humans. They look at people as cattle. That is the point I'm trying to drive home here. They occupy pretty much all positions of power. Presidential, industries, trades, businesses, music industry, music labels, offices. And if you ever notice, the people in the highest ranking positions of these jobs that are considered good leaders are often psychopaths. A very interesting thing to see. I mean, there are movies on this. Fight Club. I mean, come on. They openly display it. If you've ever seen Taxi Driver, it's kind of like that. I mean, they have ways of telling people through movies, but I mean, it's more on the subliminal level, you know? It's not always like an overt tell. And you shouldn't go watch anything for the purpose of, like, chasing some esoteric tale. I remember I watched the movie Pi like 5 times because I was trying to find some secret meaning to it. There was a secret meaning, but you didn't need to watch the film 5 times to figure it out. And I won't spoil it. And that's about all I wrote. They view this as a game. This is a game to them. It's not a game to me. But the way they play it is a game. A dualistic, psychopathic game. Win or lose. They're obsessed with winning. Or they're obsessed with the thought of winning. They don't actually ever win anything. Every game is not a win, you know what I mean? I really don't even believe in the concept of winning or losing. That's just a belief. They would say that in language, but, you know, if the language wasn't there, are you going to be able to see that you lost? I don't think so. It seems like a construct of thought. Unless you literally did lose everything like me, but, you know. So, something that became a meme is that the war is schizophrenics versus dark triad psychopaths. Spirit cooking. Look into spirit cooking. Look into the Balenciaga scandal. Look into the Pizzagate scandal. All of this is real. I try to look for inconsistencies. The fake information as it relates to this is made by literal feds. No one in their right fucking mind, even if they aren't fed, they are controlled by feds, posts that fake information as it relates to child trafficking. That is stupid. No one does that. And if people do that, they need to fuck off. Like to hell. Possibly forever. Anyway. If you notice, gangstalking seems to relate a lot to human trafficking, doesn't it? Yeah. I was called a narc at one point. The day I talked about it alone in private. I talked about human trafficking alone in private, and one of them drove past me in their car and screamed, "Narc!" It's like, what do you do at a certain point? I don't want to live in America. I hate America. Americans' values do not matter. You know what? I won't say that. I won't go that far. I don't like America. They're fucking assholes, okay? If you know anything about 9/11, it was a giant sacrifice. That whole thing is an altar. It's a circuit board altar. This is what they do. That's why everything that has to do with 9/11 has to do with fucking numerology. So many numbers, perfect numbers involved with that date, 9/11. You should look into it. So, this world is run by psychopaths, psychopathic tyrants. That's not a fun fact to ingest. I think about it every day because it's the reality I occupy, which is occupied by psychopaths that don't give a fuck about anything but their goddamn minds. The do without will attitude is for me a psychopathic mantra. It really is. I don't even know how to approach some of what they say to me. So I walk away from it. For years, I was trying to understand what this reality was, and the biggest thing I found was that it was an energy farm prison. So, I mean, I'm lucky in the fact that I have found a way to get knowledge which is undeniably real and spread it to people. But the price you pay for that is being stalked for the rest of your life by psychopaths. I mean, I'm sure not every single one of the people doing the stalking is a psychopath. I'm sure some of them are in it for the money. But I have to tell you, the psychology of an individual that follows me around all day, honking at me in their car or screaming at me out the window, eludes me. I'm not saying that's a question of intelligence. That's a question of confusion. I don't understand your intentions. It just seems to be to fuck with me. Most people don't take me seriously. If you can believe that, after spitting out all of this information, they still wouldn't take me seriously. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9, 11 points of the shit that they do. That's still not enough, along with video recordings. Another thing, I recorded them for around 2 months. They followed my house with the same shit all night. I mean, like, it was never ending. There are videos on this phone, which is my new phone, that were from the old phone of these people swarming the house at night. Don't think taking this shit to YouTube is really gonna help, but maybe, just maybe, there's someone out there that knows what I'm going through. Or perhaps I'm alone. We'll never know. This is the last time I would ever talk about this shit, and that's not a question of fear. I do not, this is one thing I also want to talk about, the gangstalking abyss. If you go onto YouTube and you type in the word gangstalking and you filter by date, it is a rabbit hole of people who are being psyoped. They are being psyoped, psychological operations, fucked with daily to do this shit. And some of the shit that they're being told is straight up it's disinformation. If the V2k skull stuff is real, and that's how they're getting all this fake information to go spread on the internet, then I don't know. Not all of it is fake, but when everyone has like a different definition of what's going on here, when it's obviously a cohesive program, like this is they're doing it the same all across the globe. The one headlight thing, what else do they do? The street theater too. I mean, this is going on in Sweden, Japan. There was some woman from the Philippines who was talking about it. It's more than just really good pattern recognition. These people are literally stalking you, and they have little ways of telling you that they're doing it. It's a little creepy. Like, it's... Again, you question the psychology of the individuals involved. Like, who would do this shit? I have proof. It's like Scientology. Scientology got caught doing this. Of course, they were more... like communists about it. I mean, but I don't know anything about Scientology aside from the tactics that they do, which are quote-unquote fair game, doxing people, spying on people, stalking people. very similar to what the gangstalkers do. I literally have evidence, months worth of evidence actually, at least 2 or 3 months worth. I stayed there and it was awful. It wasn't as bad as when I stayed here, but it was awful. Whenever I come here to Reynoldsburg, there's a specific team of people that fuck with me, and they're really fucking mean. At least I think they are, because they scream in my ears when I'm sleeping. So I'm not having a good time. The fact that I'm even fucking, like, slightly cheery is because I'm high. Fucking, I just wrote all this stuff, and I don't even know who the fuck is gonna read this shit. I mean, you don't have to read it, I'm reading it to you, but, I mean, this is viewed as a game in clearest terms. I mean, dude, holy shit. I just realized that. They've been telling us for a long time what's going on with game theory. And there's this man, his name is Brian too. I don't know anything about Brian too. I've listened to him speak at length. Apparently he was a former Department of Defense contractor that knows about this technology. And what he speaks on is not impossible or implausible. He's talking about a supercomputer that is torturing people through a algorithm modeled after what is called game theory. Game theory is something that states that every move will be followed by a consecutively more complex, hard, mathematically hard to deal with move. You see? That's what he was talking about. Brian 2. T-E-W. Brian 2. There were also some agents on the YouTubes that were following him, which I found to be interesting, because they usually don't send agents out on people who are lying. They usually send agents out on people who have really good information. I don't know. You ask me. So there's not a team of people online that fuck with me, because I've always remained anonymous. And the only reason, I think they may have discovered, like, my Steam account, definitely my YouTube accounts, my Instagram, obviously. But anything else, I don't think, like, well, I guess I don't really have anything else. I just don't share my name anywhere. I don't share my face anywhere. And I mean, I guess I will here, but I don't like, I don't like the YouTube viewer base being able to overanalyze my every fucking brain computation while this machine tortures me as I do it. Do you see how surreal that is? Because it doesn't go away. Even looking into the camera, it's completely invisible. There's nothing there. Or is there? Sure seems like there's something there. But no one else can see it. I'm just having a fucking swell time. Having my thoughts overwritten, my memories confabulated, my dreams modified, and getting screamed at in my sleep by people I can't see and don't know. It's been a really good time, and I don't even really know what I'm doing wrong at this point. I don't. They don't give me money. I've tried to tell people that the world is ending. They don't listen to me. I don't have money. They won't let me work. It's not an excuse. I'm telling you the truth. They're not letting me work right now. That's literally what's happening. You could say you're manifesting that, dude. They're using AI algorithms to automatically reject or accept applications. Like, they're not looking at this shit anymore. Most companies are not looking at this shit. Probably companies like Amazon, probably not looking at that shit. Probably don't care. I don't know how people are getting hired for these jobs these days. I really don't. I think that's it. I think I literally described everything to you. There's something called the revelation of the method, and one of the ways they revealed the method to me was by, I'll explain the situation. It's nighttime. I think it's around 11. I hear squad cars, cop cars, ambulances, and a fire truck, all going down to this Family Dollar, which is across from where I live. And I noted that a lot of gang-stalking activity occurs at that Family Dollar. Now listen up. I hear the cops, and a guy, the cops weren't screaming, but I hear the cops. They're out there. Like, I hear their fucking sirens and everything. A guy starts screaming. He starts doing like this street theater, and it's done to show me that he's with the police, that he's an informant. I don't want to go too deep into this because a lot of people don't have their third eye open, right? And they can't see what they're being. Look, I'm not stupid. I know what they were trying to tell me. They were threatening me that that whole block of people has to be in on it. And I'm not going to mention where I live, obviously, but that whole block of people has to be in on it. Maybe not the whole block, but they were definitely fucking with me while I lived there for that 3 months. Everyone was fucking with me. I'm literally not lying to you. It literally felt like everyone in the world was like trying to get into my head and make me feel like schizo. That's what happened. And they were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, are you speaking to me right now? Who? What? What are you talking about? Why are you saying this to me? I should have actually reacted like that. That's how my mind reacted. I would usually just be like, huh, I guess I'll figure that out one later. So, I think that does it. I am unsure of what else to mention. What? Oh. Anyway. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, my life is kind of being destroyed. It's really not going so well right now. I'm sorry. I tried to upload a YouTube short, and I just now realized they're not going to let me upload this video because it's 30 minutes long. Thanks, YouTube. Is this 2005 again? I can't upload anything other than fucking 30-second videos or 15-minute videos. I mean, come on. So I made this account. I'm kind of done with everything. After I explain what I want to explain, I'm done with the internet forever. And I'm done with it. I'm done with YouTube forever. Wow, it just got really hot. Okay, anyway. I spent like my whole life on YouTube. On a computer. And I like computers. Computers are nice. But in the words of Bobby Hemmett, use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. Pretty wise shit. Anyway, I don't really know what the fuck to do. Like, I'm literally actually, like, not kidding with you when I say that they've put me into some sort of psychological hell realm for over a year, and I don't know how much of what I'm seeing is even fucking real anymore. Damn, I'm not even fucking with you. Yeah, I smoke weed. Yeah, I did drugs. I don't want to hear it. You don't know how real it gets, even if you are on drugs for years. So, I'm trying to figure out where I want to take this, because I'm not sure where to take it. I've kind of just lost all my friends. Honestly, I'm almost not surprised. I'm kind of tired of hearing myself talk. I'm not trying to give you a sob story. I'm just saying, it's not a very good time in my life right now. I don't know if you noticed that or not. It's actually fucking hellish. I'm not really quite sure why I'm here. I've had terrible luck as of recent, too. All these... Oh, yes, I forgot to mention this. They gave me a death threat not too long ago, but I'm still here. They drove next to me with a hearse. You know what a hearse is, right? It carries coffins. and it said, "You'll be next" on it. I've been listening to a song by a rap group by the name of Street Military. It's called "Dead in a Year." It's a good song. So I really don't think I'll like live another 2 years. And that's because of the knowledge I fell into and how dangerous it is to even like exist with it in your brain. Because by hook or by crook, they want that information and they think they'll get it. Data collection. Let's leave it at that. Supercomputers, data collection. Just take my word for it. Look up Saturn fractal computer. Like, there are things that I'm going to get into talking about that people are not going to believe. And you're not even, like, I just wish I could conceptualize it to you now. It's awful. I don't know if I want to even say it. But I will. So, since my time is short, so whatever revelations I want to get out, I should get them out now. And that is why this is going to be the last gangstalking video, because I want it all done to be surmised in this one video. They've thrown sounds into my head remotely, quacking duck sound effects. Something like a knock. I've heard other people talk about this too, a knock sound. I mean, these are just things that are random. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why is that going on? It doesn't make sense. So it's all like done to throw your mind off and to kind of weird you out, but at the same time kind of keep you immersed. One of the interesting things about the gangstalking rabbit hole is that it was fun to bait these people for a time. It was fun to bait them out to these weird locations and watch them kind of swarm and like be weird and just look at you, honk at you like you're a zoo animal or something. But after a while, you're not even trying to have them follow you out there, and they are. Every time. Unless that's just, me overanalyzing. It's not. So, like, I really, like, get so tired of the shit. Because a lot of my memories are starting to feel like they're being altered. They were being altered in real time. And that it was being done to fuck me, ultimately. I'm not going to blame it entirely on that, but I don't really trust anything I'm seeing right now. I'll bet you the majority of these articles right here are AI generated, written by artificial intelligence algorithms, and yeah. And look, there's a picture of they've been telling me to take out my right eye. There's a picture of a monkey covering its right eye. And I can see which, their left is my right. I get it. I'm not stupid. That's the right eye. Very interesting stuff. Well, I guess it comes back to that big question of who would believe it. Also, I'm sweating profusely right now. It's really gross. I weigh 123 pounds right now. It's just like a weird existence for me because I'm not like, I kind of have some muscle. I'm really not like scary looking. So when people look at me on the streets, they're probably not very intimidated. And I'm talking about the gangstalkers, obviously, because they come at you feeling some type of way if they're doing this shit every fucking day. Yeah, okay. They're beaming voices in my head right now, actually. They're also beaming images into my head. Instantaneously. Without fail. And I'm, I'm very tired of it all. I think I've said it all, though. If you have stayed this far into the video, I thank you at the very least. I'm not even really quite sure how to end this. I wasn't even really quite sure how to approach this because I have done about 10 fucking gang stalking summaries. So that's part of the reason I don't want to have to do this again. So I wrote it all down and made sure that it was concise. It is indeed concise. That's about all that's about all I experienced right there. And they're doing it up until this moment, beaming voices into my head. Nice. Real nice. So, what to do about that is a great question. I don't react to them because they've done it for so long. I got mad at them today, but this is for a variety of reasons. They like to really ruin people's lives, so I'm not too happy with them. They're not very good people, I would say. I've never tried to ruin anyone's life. I never did try to. I never wanted to ruin anyone's life. I never tried to ruin anyone's life. I don't know. I'm just tired of, like, being in this torture simulation and having them, like, they kind of, like, give you this idea that you're getting somewhere. And you're not getting anywhere. One of the hardest, things you could tell yourself, really. I feel like I'm at the bottom of the ocean right now. Well, not the near bottom, the abyss, but not the trenches. Certainly very deep. The pressure is insane. Okay, so I think I'm trying to do a brief review in my mind. I talked about the artificially induced and manipulated dreams. Okay. I also told you that they're beaming voices into my head at this moment. It's about 2 in the morning. I haven't slept properly in 5 days because every time I try to go to sleep, I hear a bunch of voices in my head and they say these things and it's very clear to me. It sounds like they're speaking right into my ear. It's very unpleasant and I can't sleep with it. I haven't wanted to sleep because they've been modifying my dreams and doing bad stuff to me in my dreams. So I don't want to deal with that, so I'm not sleeping. Why would I go to sleep if they're just going to torture me in my sleep? I'd rather fucking stay awake. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know how visible the bags under my eyes are, but I don't, like, even if I am sleeping, I don't get more than 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And I have, like, stretch dreams. So, it's just a strange, I'm not, happy like this, I guess you could say. It's not a fun reality to inhabit if this is what's going on. You kind of go undercover spy, you do some spy shit. Ooh, I'm doing some spy shit. After the 100th time that you've baited these people out and stalked out their weird stalky behavior, you will be ready for them to be gone. Trust me on that. I've been studying their shit for months and I haven't found a conclusive answer. The closest thing I found is game theory and supercomputers. That's it. Data centers. What are they called? I forget exactly what they're called, but they're related to all this. I think there's one in Cleveland. It's an information center. No? What was it called? I forget what it's called, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up I don't know if YouTube will let me upload this video, but if they do, hopefully it gets out to somebody. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. I don't know if you can tell. I'm having a really shit time, and this is like the only thing I can think to do that would take my mind off of it somewhat. And I think that's where it ends. I mean, I don't have anything else to say, and I've kind of tapered off here in the worst way, so I might even edit this out. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think I'll be back to say something. Now time to check if I've delivered a solid product for free, by the way. Don't praise me, I'm not here for the accolades.